What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Zeb, and welcome to the Rehab Christian Center Tuesday night virtual experience. I am grateful to be here with you tonight, and certainly hoping that your week has gotten off to a very tremendous start. It's Tuesday. It has been a busy 48 hours for me, and I'm certain the case is the same for you, especially if you have been focusing on your purpose. But I pray that the week is off to a tremendous start, and it's so good to see you virtually. Do me a favor. I'm excited to deal with part two of this Dating with a Purpose lesson that we started Sunday and that unfortunately had technical difficulties and could not get through, but this was good timing. But I'm grateful to provide you these practical biblical things that will help you. But receive just a mountain of just feedback today regarding the fact that we teach in a way that is very candid, but certainly very understandable and relatable for people. And that is a gift from God, but certainly something we don't take for granted. And so I'm grateful to those of you that continue to tune in and support our very unique ministry. And we're just grateful to have you with us here tonight. Do me a favor, go ahead and start liking this video, sharing this video if you would. I am dedicated tonight to getting us off the air, by 8 p.m. tonight, Eastern time. That is my goal. And that's what I intend to do tonight. But I want to get through these 5 very essential dating tips that I want to share with you tonight to continue on with Sunday. And I believe this is going to be a blessing to you. So again, regardless of the network that you're on, I want you to go ahead and chime in. Like the video, share the video, say good evening in the chat areas. If we see you, we're going to try our best to acknowledge you there. And then start sharing this video, because I want to get into these 5 essential dating tips tonight. And I believe it's going to be a blessing to you in a tremendous, tremendous way. Again, just grateful that you've tuned in, and grateful to see all of you virtually on your respective stations. Facebook, good evening to you. I want to go through these networks really quickly. I want to get right into this lesson tonight. And there's nothing wrong with me. I'm tired. This has been a very long day, very busy day, but a good week, a very good, productive 2 weeks. And I got several hours of work ahead of me tonight that I'm not looking forward to, but it is life. And so just good to be with you. But we're going to get through tonight, and really believe we're going to be energized by the word and the message that we'll share. And we know it's going to help you. Facebook, good evening to you. Good to see you virtually. Those of you that are tuning in on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, make sure you like this video. If you really enjoy our broadcast, hold down that like button until you see a heart, hit that heart and love this video. And then do me a favor. I want you to hit that share button, hit the @ symbol, and tag 5 of your friends and tell them to tune in tonight. This is going to be a blessing. And I truly believe that somebody is going to be blessed in a tremendous way for tuning in tonight. So Facebook, good evening to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm excited to have your presence with us tonight. Instagram, good evening to you. Those of you that are tuned in via Instagram, thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, I want you to hit that heart button, hold it down. Let me see some hearts fly up the screen. If you have not done so already, I want you to then hit the @ symbol and tag 5 of your friends. Tell them to tune in. And then also say good evening in the chat area. Let us know that you're tuned in, and let us know that you are joining with us on tonight. And I promise you, somebody's going to be blessed because you shared this message, this broadcast with them. Okay, so thank you so much, Instagram, for tuning in. And it's a blessing to see you tonight. And finally, YouTube, good evening to you. Those of you that are tuned in via YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't be shy. If you're on YouTube, make sure you say good evening in the chat area there. And then I want you to hit that like button on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you're going to see going forward into the future, we're going to be doing a whole lot more exclusively on YouTube, particularly as we begin to shift into this hybrid model. You're going to see a lot more action on YouTube. And so we really want to encourage all of you, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, to do so at TheREHABCC. And not only that, then I want you to hit that share button if you're on YouTube. Share this video with 5 of your friends And then even in the chat area, say good evening. Let us know that you're there. But we're so grateful to have you. So honored to be with you tonight. And again, praying that your Tuesday has been as phenomenal and blessed as mine has been. And hopefully not as busy and hectic. But it's good to see you tonight. Now, I want to get right into this message tonight, this lesson. And again, I'm grateful to have you here. Let me again apologize for what happened Sunday. Again, we had technical issues Sunday, but we were right in the middle of a very critical conversation about dating that works not being an accident, but a choice. And that was the last bullet point that I gave you before I gave you tip number one. And I'm going to start back with tip number one so that I can just refresh us and then give you the remaining 5 tips or 4 tips for 5 tips total for effective dating. All right. But again, I want to reframe what I last said on Sunday and start there. Remember, for those of you that did not tune in, I want you to record this. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 6 through 9, New Living Translation. I'm not going to read it, but 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verses 6 through 9 in the New Living Translation dealt with the Apostle Paul talking about his ultimate desire is that he wished everybody be single like him. And we went into this foundational work where we talked about singleness being a gift. It's not something that's easy. It's not something that's desired by a lot of people, but singleness is a gift. And we also said Sunday that unfortunately for some and fortunately for others, singleness is the destiny for some people. The landing spot will be single. I do not believe in that whole idea biblically, that there is somebody out here for everybody, because the reality is, and I know people, I think I gave my uncle as an example. Many of you know other people as well who are single. They have grown into singlehood. They are comfortable being single and they don't want to be with anybody, and they're okay by being by themselves, and they're not sinning. They're not displeasing God because they don't have a husband or a wife or kids. The Apostle Paul says here really clearly and plainly that singleness is a gift, and ultimately it is the destination. It is the destination for some people, and that's okay. Our goal and our challenge is to understand what our plight is, not to force the matter. And if the desire is to be with other people, then to understand that dating that works is not an accident. It's a choice. Believers don't fall in love. We enter into love with a level of emotion, obviously, but also with a level of wisdom. And so it's critically important that you get that because we don't want you to fall into anything but your bed at night. That's it. You don't want to fall into that paycheck or that money that you cash it at the bank. We don't want you to fall into anything. Bible even explicitly says, now unto him who is able to keep you from falling, right? I know I'm being technically petty, but catch the larger revelation, and that is believers don't fall into things like love. We enter into love with a level of emotion, but also with some wisdom and some discernment. And so that's critically important. And I wanted to reiterate that. Now, the 5 effective dating tips. I'm going to give you 5 effective dating tips. I want you to record this in the notes. I'm moving right along tonight, but I want to make sure that I get through all 5 of these tips and get us out on time. All right. Tip number 1 is this. Know your type. And we talked about this. I gave you this tip Sunday, though I did not really get into it. But tip number 1 is know your type. All right. I want you to record that. Tip number 1, know your type. This is what I'm really getting at when I say this. When I say know your type, I'm not saying that just from the context of knowing your type and only going after your type. Before we even go there, the first thing that we need to know and understand plainly is this. It is impossible to understand what you want, what you desire, if you're not first clear on who you are. And so many people jump to what they want in terms of a type without thinking about first who they are, coming into a clear understanding of who they are. Because the reality is you can know your type, but when you really understand who you are, then understanding who you are influences how you determine your type. Okay, I want to say that again. Understanding who you are then influences how you determine who your type is. And so it's quick for people to say, my type is this or my type is that. But I don't really I take people making that statement, this is my type, at face value if they are not at a clear understanding of who they are. Because if you don't know you, you don't really know what you like. Okay, that's the easiest way I can say it. If you don't really know you, you don't really know what you like. You don't really know who you like. You don't really know what's best for you. You don't really know what you want. You don't really know what you need if you're not really clear on who you are. All right. So part of knowing your type is first understanding who you are. All right. And I want to also piggyback on that. When you understand who you are, then you don't date. You don't date other people to figure out your type or to become it. You date to find a complement to who you are or find a complement to a whole you. And people get this backwards. We identify who our type is, but when we identify who our type is without fully understanding who we are, then we go out here trying to date to our type, but you're really not dating to who you are. You're dating to the imagination of what you think you want or what it is that you think you desire. And I don't know if I'm losing you all tonight, but I'm really trying to make this as plain as I can make it. Knowing your type ultimately means nothing if you just don't know who you are. All right. And so I can't stress that enough. And this isn't the same for men, and this isn't the same for women. There's several books out that you can read that will help you. One classic relationship book that I would offer to all of you, and that's a good read. We talked about the 5 love languages. That's a easy, win. But there's an old school book called Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Find the book. It's an old book, but it's a really good book. It's a really good read because it really talks about the dynamic differences between men and women and the impact, frankly, that has on how each gender identifies their types. And so we tend to, based on gender, not see our types the same way. We tend to be attracted to different types of things because we are different people, and that is okay. For the most part, men tend to be very visual. And so in identifying their type, it tends to be a lot of times rooted in visual appeal, fortunately and unfortunately. And women tend to be a little bit opposite. And this doesn't mean that women don't look at or identify their type based on what is visually appealing to them, as much as they tend to be genetically wired as such that they tend to look at people a little bit more holistically than they do versus physical appeal or what's on the surface. Again, whether one's right, whether one's wrong, different conversation for a different day. The point being, you can have what you want and have what you need when you know who you are. I want you to record that. You can have what you want. When it comes to your type, you can have what you want and what you need when you know who you are. Okay. And this is groundbreaking. It's simple, but it's groundbreaking if you'll receive it. You can have what you want and what you need if you know who you are. Can I help you? A lot of people only in their mates, boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives. A lot of people only have either what they want or either what they need, because they have not taken the time to fully understand who they are. And when you don't fully understand who you are, you normally end up with either what you want or either what you need in a mate. When you know who you are, you can have what you want and what you need. Are y'all listening? You can have what you want and what you need when you know who you are, because then the identification process of determining who your type is not rooted in just superficial things, not rooted in just things that are below the surface. They are rooted in the fullness of you having an understanding of who you are. So again, when you know who you are, you can have what you want and what you need in a mate. And normally when you don't know who you are, you end up with either what you want or either what you need and not the complete package. And I'm here to lift to all of you, believer, non-believer. I don't care what your faith level is. I want to say this to you. that the more comfortable you are with knowing who you are, the more likely you are to end up with a well-rounded mate. You end up with a better, more well-rounded mate when you are very comfortable with who you are, because then your selection doesn't just become superficial, right? It doesn't, guys, just become about how she looks. You know who you are. You are comfortable in who you are. And part of knowing who you are is also understanding that while physical attraction is great, if sis can't talk about nothing else beyond hair and nails, it ain't going to be enough for you. And that's where you enter into the what you need conversation. Sis is fine, but what you also need is intellectual attraction. Does that make sense? Ladies, the same thing applies to you. He may be physically attractive. He may be physically your type. Energetically, in terms of his masculine energy, he may check the boxes there. But because you are fully aware of who you are, when you identify a potential mate and you are evaluating him, you are evaluating the whole him. And it's easy for you to evaluate a whole person when you are whole yourself. Do you understand? It's easy to understand a whole person when you are, or evaluate a whole person when you are whole yourself, right? And so that's all I'm getting at. Again, tip one, know your type, but we can't do that until we first understand who we are. Here's tip number two. I'm moving along. If this is making sense, I want you to fill it up with likes. I want you to keep tagging people. Tell them to tune in. I'm just excited. I really like teaching this stuff, and I really hope that it's blessing somebody. Tip number two is this. Don't get desperate. Take your time. Don't get desperate, comma, take your time. Don't get desperate, comma, that's important. I want you to pause and think about that. Take your time. One of the biggest weapons of the devil is how you use your time. And I want to challenge all of you to understand that spiritual maturity is a reflection, or is reflected in how we use our time. I evaluate spiritual maturity not by how much you come to church, shout, do all of that stuff, scream, holler, speak in tongues. If you were born in church, not. All of that stuff's great. I evaluate spiritual maturity by how you spend your time. Because the reality is, when you understand the preciousness of the commodity that is time, then you recognize that everything that you do should be afforded the appropriate amount of time to it so that you can continue to walk into your purpose. And this includes dating. This includes who you date. So this is important. When we talk about dating, on choosing people to date, maybe eventually choosing people that we will marry, you have to think about the importance of time and making sure that you understand that it is better for you to take your time and wait and not waste your time than to be desperate just to say you got somebody and end up wasting your time. All right. It's better for you not to be desperate, to take your time, not to rush the process, and wait for the right situation, the right opportunity, the right whole, well-rounded person, than for you to be out here literally throwing dates against the wall, hoping they stick, and in the process, wasting time. Okay. So again, your ability to wait, your ability to take your time is not only a reflection of your lack of desperation, it is a reflection of your spiritual maturity. They that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. It's critical that that verse would even make sense in the context of spiritual maturity, because at the essence of being disciplined from a spiritual perspective is exercising the ability to wait. I talked a little bit about discipline last night on my personal live, and I'll mention this again. Part of this is just learning how to wait. Part of being spiritually strong in general, whether we're talking about life, life in general, dating, career changes, family, starting a family, and broadening a family, whatever thing you want to do. part of your spiritual maturity is understanding the impact of timing and waiting. And I've discovered that the more spiritually strong, or the more my spiritual strength has increased, the better I've been able to be able to wait on things. My patience rises as my ability to wait rises. As my spiritual maturity rises, my ability to be patient also rises too. And you show me somebody who can exercise and operate in patience, and I'll show you somebody who's probably got some spiritual maturity. Show me somebody who doesn't have to have everything they want, when they want it, how they want it. And I'll show you somebody who is likely very spiritual mature. You're going to know you're growing in spiritual maturity when getting the right man is more important than getting a man right now. Are y'all listening to the old man? I'm teaching better than y'all saying amen and typing tonight. You're going to know you are walking in spiritual maturity when getting the right woman is more important than just getting a woman, right? And so we need to be very clear there, because it is a reflection of our spiritual maturity, right? That's what spiritual maturity causes you to do. Again, it doesn't rush you. It does not allow you, spiritual maturity does not allow you to get desperate. Spiritual maturity does not allow you to push the envelope and just go out here and choose anybody just to have somebody. You know, it's holidays. Some of y'all getting lonely, and y'all gonna press the buttons on some of these dates, dating some of these ignorant folks, and you're gonna waste your time. Unfortunately, some of you gonna waste your body count out here getting desperate in these streets. And I'm just telling you, exercise some spiritual maturity and learn the impact of waiting, because waiting is a surefire sign that not only are you ready for what it is that you desire in a mate or a person, it is a surefire sign that you are spiritually mature. Okay? That's tip 2. Tip number 3. Tip number 3 is this: ask questions and do some research. I'm going to spend a little bit of time right here, right? Because I'm doing great on time. I'm really doing good on time. And boy, I can't wait to get to, tips 3 through 5 are serious. Tip 3, record this: ask questions and do some research. Ask questions and do some research. Here's the bottom line. Y'all slow on the notes tonight, but I hope this means you're thinking, because I really want to challenge you to think. Here's the bottom line. At the end of the day, everybody's attractive until they start talking. Maybe that's just from Pastor's point of view. Everybody's attractive on their social media pictures, whatever, Snapchat, everybody attract until they start talking. And when people start talking, one of two things either happens. Either their attraction level goes up because what they say then becomes a reflection of what they depict, or their attraction level goes down because what they say and what they portray are not the same things. Okay. And so this is why it's important, when you understand that they're either more attractive or not at all, when they start talking, then you understand that dating then is an investment. It is an investment of your time. It is when you date, it is an investment of really 3 things. Record this. This is record worthy too. When you date, you are investing 3 things. You are investing your energy, you are investing your resources, and you are investing your time. When you date, you are investing your energy, you are investing your resources, you are investing your time. All right. When you date, you are investing your energy, you are investing your resources, you are investing your time. We had a very interesting conversation today at lunch. A colleague, employee of mine whose last day was today, she's going to another great opportunity. But we were all, sitting around having lunch today and talking about this subject. Kind of came up because somehow the link to my live got out, and that was the talk of the morning. But that's a different conversation, different day. Had a ball last night. And we talked about this investment. The investment that takes place when it comes to dating was a very timely conversation based on what I'm teaching tonight. But I want to say this: you all need to ask some questions and do some research. Now, I'm not old enough to have experienced this firsthand. I'm not that old, but I remember very vividly conversations I've had with my parents growing up where they talked about how things were when they dated. And we've got some older people on this call that may be able to relate to this, and maybe you'll say so. But they talked about days of where, you could not even date people. If I had a daughter, you couldn't come and date my daughter. I had a son, you couldn't come date my son unless we knew that, the parents back then knew who you were, and then when you showed up, to try to spend some time with the person you was dating, you showed up at their house. Before it even got there, there were conversations about who the person was, who the person's mama was, who the person's daddy was, what family they came from. These were conversations that were held back in the day, as I understand it. And these conversations all took place before you were even allowed to take someone out. Dad and them talk about back then not having a whole lot of money. And so a lot of times if they could not go out, mama would come over to see dad, and they had to sit in the living room, and they couldn't go to the room. You couldn't go to daddy's room, or daddy couldn't go to mama's room. They had to sit in the living room. And, normally the parents weren't in there with them, but they were not too far by. And they would talk, dad would, tell stories about how if it got too quiet in the room, they'll throw a shoe in there just in case. Right. If it got too quiet in the room, they would throw a shoe in there. But this stuff was all laced in research, right? People ask questions. Now, we're not in that time frame now. We are in a different time. We're in the information age, obviously. And the good news about the information age is that you can go to a site called Google, and in today's time, you can type just about anybody's name and you can do some real research. So for those of you that are dating folk, going out with people, hanging out with people, you have not taken the time to research them between Google and social media. If you have not taken the time to not only research them, but if you're going on these dates blind and you have no information, that is nobody's fault but yours. Back then they didn't even have Google. All they had was word of mouth. They had family reputations. If you was a King or Martin or whatever your last name was, a Tally, whatever, and your family had a bad reputation, you won't go out on that. Oh, he a Tally. We're not fooling with them. That's how they vetted people out. But this was all rooted on, for good or bad, was rooted on doing research. Why? Because it is an investment of energy. When you are significant, and all of you are that are tuned in, that are watching this replay, dating, when you are significant, it is an investment of your energy. It is an investment of your resources. Dating was cheap back then. It ain't cheap now. If you're going to take somebody to the movies, first of all, your movie ticket going to be about $14 a piece. And you and sis, or you and bro, better pack some snacks and sneak it in, because a small popcorn that's about this big going to be about $12. Right. So by the time, and I told you on the live last night, most of these women, they like to eat. And the cuter they are, the more they like to eat. So, by the time, she want her own popcorn, and you like me, you don't want folk eating your food. So you want your own popcorn, they want their own popcorn. Y'all either sharing a drink or you got your own drink, and you didn't bought movie ticket. You didn't spend $70 just to sit in a 2-hour movie. Dating is an investment of resources too. If you're going to take them out to a nice restaurant and do something nice, and I don't have time to deal with who pays and all of that stuff, I may do that next on my next personal live and make y'all real mad about some stuff as it relates to who pays for dates and all of that. I'm in the mood to just agitate people, and I've been doing that a lot lately. It's been great here. But if you're going to date, it is an investment of resources. It's not cheap, right? It's not cheap. It just isn't. And this is even more so when you marry people and you're married, right? Because we do all understand, hopefully by now, that if you're married, you don't stop dating. And so if you're married and you got kids and the kids got to come on a date, then that money multiplies, right? So just going out is expensive. Even if you take a spouse and y'all got a couple of kids and y'all go get 4 for 4s. 4 for 4 times 8 is $32. Like, again, I'm being facetious, but I'm being serious too. It is an investment of your resources, but again, it is an investment of your time. And we have to stop wasting time. You have to stop wasting time in places and spaces, dating folks that there is no future with. You've done research. You didn't went through there. We can talk a little bit about social media in a second, but you've done that. You've Googled them. They got 3 warrants out for their arrest, and you thinking that God gonna use you to change them. I ain't saying it ain't possible. Anything's possible. With God, all things are possible. But what I am saying is you need to make a conscious decision on whether or not those dates are going to be a waste of your time, energy, and resources. Okay? Tip number 4 is a good one. I'm almost done, y'all. Tip number 4 is this. Record this. Don't be afraid to cut off what isn't producing. Don't be afraid to cut off. I hear you, LaTanya. Totally hear you. And I can appreciate that. Don't be afraid to cut off what is not producing. Okay? Don't be afraid to cut off what is not producing. If it is not producing, you have a right to cut it off. Okay? Dating is not a lifetime achievement award. Did y'all hear what I said? Dating is not a lifetime achievement award. You have a right to cut off things, including people that are not producing in your life. Where you invest your time will determine how you produce. Where you invest your time will determine what you produce. If you spend time in strawberry fields, you would be crazy to expect to produce apples. Ain't nobody growing apples in strawberry fields. Where you invest your time will determine what you produce. Where you invest your time will determine how you produce. All right. So you have a choice here. And this is important. Remember this. The disciples, and this is the best biblical analogy I can give you, and it actually relates to dating if you really think about it and think out of the box. The disciples didn't choose Jesus. Jesus chose them. I'm going to help some of y'all. The disciples did not choose Jesus. Jesus chose them. And you got to take the same attitude when it comes to who you choose to date. Stop letting people choose you. And you start choosing them. Are y'all listening to the old man? Stop letting people choose you. But understand your value. Understand the investment of time, energy, and resources that you're going to have to put into dating. And then understand that you need to stop letting people choose you, and you need to start choosing them. Okay? And you do this and you understand this perspective when you understand the importance of your time, again, resources, your energy, your purpose, things that you have planned for your life, the weight that is on your life, the assignment that is on your life. You understand that you don't just sit back. Well, and again, ladies, you all are very guilty of this. And I hate to make this gender biased, but it's the truth. Ladies, you're very guilty of this. And you even throw the Bible on here where the Bible says the man ought to pursue the woman. I get that, but understand this. Even if he pursues you, you need to start spending some time trying to decide whether or not you're going to choose him. Some of us ladies get so lightheaded. You get so lightheaded when a guy's chasing you that you lose all senses of realizing that just because he's chasing don't mean that's something you ought to choose. A chase does not necessarily mean a choose. Okay? A chase doesn't necessarily mean a choose. He can chase you, but just because he's chasing you don't mean you ought to be choosing him. Don't hit me with the Bible about the man ought to pursue the woman. I get all of that. But while he's pursuing you, you ought to be evaluating whether or not he's worth choosing. Are y'all listening to me? Folks on Instagram saying I'm attacking them and they feel attacked. It's just what it is, right? And so ladies, again, tend to be more in that vein, but understand that even if you want a man to pursue you, and there's nothing wrong with that, you want a man to pursue you, that's great. Understand you got a choice in the matter. You better start taking a choice in the matter, and then understand that as he's chasing you or pursuing you, you ought to be evaluating him. And guys, the same thing. Guys, when you figure out your value, I'm talking to the men now. When you figure out your value and your purpose and what you bring to the table, then all of a sudden you are less likely to just be chasing everything and everybody. It's funny, I laugh at guys that will literally holler at anybody. And guys that will holler at anybody have no clear understanding of their purpose and who they've been called to be and what they've been called to do. Because you just realize as a man that even if you can, doesn't mean you always should. I'm trying to help some men tonight. That even if you can, doesn't always mean you should. And watch this. You know what shoots your value up, guys? Here's some more free game. You ready? You know what shoots your value up, guys? What shoots your value up is when you know you can get them, but if it ain't even really worth your time, energy, efforts, and resources, you don't even waste your time pursuing them. You know what that does to your value? Skyrockets it. You know why? Because you understand your value and you're willing to make a choice. You ain't thirsty. And see, we talk about women being thirsty. No. Guys out here be more thirsty than women. Y'all don't believe it? Show us your inbox, ladies. Show us your DMs. Post one picture and show us your DMs. Oh, y'all not talking to me. Post one picture, show us your DMs. Dudes be out here doing the most. But I like that, LaTanya. An exclusive man, a man that is exclusive, that can have many choices, but he ain't tripping. He taking his time. High value. High value. Your attraction goes through the roof. And I could really deal more with that. I ain't got time to deal with this point. I could really deal with that more because there's even some psychology to that too. Ever heard the whole idea that people tend to want more, something that they can't have? Y'all ever heard that idea that people tend to want more of something that they can't have? If you tell a kid they can't have a cookie, what do? They want the cookie more. Tell a kid they can't go to the mall, what happens? They want to go to the mall more. Same thing happens in dating. Ladies and guys, ladies, when you high value and you don't just date out anybody and you ain't running up your body count or wasting your time just dating anybody, you got a whole lineup of guys you could date. You could have a different date every night of the week, but you ain't wasting your time, effort, or energy or risking your body count out here just wasting time. And you being very selective, you know what that does? It makes the guys that you didn't choose, what? Want you more. Your value goes up. You know why? Because you ain't easy to get. You don't waste your time. You understand the value of being chased and you appreciate that, but you also understand the value of choosing. Guys, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I can't explain it other than to say to you that if you just take your time, guys, and don't be thirsty, you don't have to respond to everybody that like you. You don't have to entertain everybody that like you. You just find your lane, know what you want, know what you don't want, and stick to that. You can be nice to people, cordial to people, but not do too much. I'm telling you, that drives a woman nuts in a good way. I don't mean in a bad way. Why? Because you high value. Takes your attractiveness and goes up. You ain't for the streets. And most decent women don't want a dude that what? Yeah, decent women want a nice looking guy. They want an attractive guy. They want a successful guy who's locked into his purpose. But let me tell you what they don't want. They don't want him attractive, successful, locked into his purpose, educated, all this stuff y'all want, but he also for the streets. Because if that's the case, he might as well be like any other guy. But if he got all of that stuff going for him and his name clean, his name ain't in all the DMs, he out here chilling with Barbara and Barbara ain't got to worry about Shirley. High value. High value. When you with him, you ain't got to worry about nobody coming up to you as another woman, that kind of stuff. High value. And he don't look like 5 miles of tar on the road. Like he's an attractive guy. Got a lot going for him, but he just don't entertain. He don't entertain everything. I'm telling you, he becomes high value, and it's so crazy that the stuff he doesn't entertain, the interest from those spaces continues to rise. All right. So don't be afraid to cut off what isn't producing, and understand you have a choice. Just as Jesus chose the disciples, you choose where you go. Tip number 5. This one gonna bless some of y'all. I'm gonna get in trouble for this one, but I need about 4 or 5 minutes to teach this. Then we're gonna pray, sow a seed, and I'm gonna go. But I just need some time right here. God, I should have got to this tip faster because I really need some time. Y'all ready for tip number 5? The 5th essential effective dating tip is this: keep your business off social media until it's real. Boy, keep your business off social media until it's real. Keep your business off social media until it's real. I think my next personal live is going to kind of deal with this right here. And it's going to be another brutal session. You know why? Because some of y'all don't do nothing but embarrass yourself month after month. Some of y'all done change your status, your relationship status on social media so many times that when you do change it, we don't know whether to believe you or not. Just keep it off social media until it's real. Is this making sense to anybody? I will not name them. I don't know them personally. They are friends of friends. And I noticed there was a couple that got married. It's about a week ago. I think I saw this sometime last week. And they posted it. And I saw it on my feed because, again, they're friends of friends. I don't know them personally. I've known of her. I don't know him at all. I've heard his name. I didn't know them personally. And but again, they're friends of friends. And so when I saw a picture, I saw a picture of them standing at the altar. She was sitting there, her hands in his, and it was right many people out in the crowd that were masked up or whatever. I was looking at the likes. I had a lot of likes, a couple of hundred likes or whatever. But as I'm scrolling down to just move on, because I didn't like it, I didn't know them. Other than to just see the congratulations, blank and blank, but blank. But I read that status, and this person posted a picture and said, "I'm taking notes because we didn't even know y'all were dating. And when y'all popped out, you popped out married." I'm going to give y'all some 21st century advice, 21st century advice. And I know some of you traditional folk ain't going to like this because you think you need to pop out early. You got a little boyfriend, change your status, put him or her in your profile picture. Let people say what they're going to say, give you some likes, because they ain't going to do nothing but like your picture and then go on DMs and talk about your screenshot you and say, "Look, girl, look who he got. Look who he chose. Look boy, dude, look who he chose." That's all they're going to do. And I know some of y'all are into that. And you're going to hit me with the, "Well, hey, if we official, then what we got to hide?" And I get it. You go ahead and do that. But let me tell you something. This is a different day. People on social media will tear your relationships up. I'm just trying to give y'all some good advice. What's known, remember this. This ain't Bible. This is some good old barbershop talk I'm about to hit you with. Y'all remember this. When it comes to your relationship, what's known don't need to be understood. What's known don't have to be understood. And I'm not talking about what's known by the masses. I'm talking about what's known between you and the person you with. What's known don't have to be understood by who? By the masses. If you know what time it is, I'm giving y'all some practical dating advice. If you know what time it is, if they know what time it is, why y'all out here trying to flex early? Just so the thirsties can jump in inboxes, try to break you up. Just so the folk that's mad that you with somebody that you ain't choose them can go. Y'all, I got stories I could share with y'all that would just blow your mind. Y'all have no idea. I'm not going to even get into that. I may share this. I'm going to probably share this on my personal live in 2 weeks. There's a story I can't wait to share about this because I lived this. I lived it. When you put that stuff out there, folk do crazy stuff, from creating profile pages Folk will create profile pages, crop pictures of you, the person you with, put it on their page. Y'all have no idea how ignorant social media is. And I'm gonna just say this to y'all, and I'm just gonna keep it 100 for those of you that are business owners, those of you that have significant followers, people know you. The more known you are, the worse it is. I, some of the most admired, respected people that I know who do public work, that are public servants, or maybe famous. I'm connected to people who are well known, that are moguls in different spaces. I don't name drop. I'm not into that. But I'm using this as an example to say that if you know them privately, you or personally, you understand why they are so private with their private life. People are stupid on social media. And I would not give 2 cents for none of y'all that get a boyfriend and 2 weeks later you didn't post them on your social media. Y'all wait. Y'all wait. Make sure you have it before you flex it. Record that. Make sure you got it locked in before you flex it. Social media is a whole mess. And some of y'all so quick. I know a young lady, God bless her heart. God bless. She couldn't wait to get somebody. She finally got somebody, ended up getting married. And boy, she couldn't wait to put him on her social media and not, honey, you doing the most. And I just pray that it lasts. I'm just telling you, because what's known don't need to be understood. Make sure you got it before you flex it. Some of y'all need to take some of you need to take the same approach that couple took on that social media post that I saw. And that is go on and date in private. Keep it as private as you can. Let your family know, your close friends know. Make them sign an oath of swearing it to themselves, and y'all keep it under the radar. If you have to date in secluded places, go to secluded restaurants. I'm giving y'all some good advice. And when it gets serious meaning we might take it next level, get engaged, get married, then you can go ahead and up the ante if you want to do that, all of that. But I'm telling you, that post that I saw blessed me last week. Because in this day and time, some of y'all gonna post too prematurely and you're gonna let people completely tear up your relationships. The folk that like you, the folk that don't like you, gonna tear up your stuff. Right? So keep your business off social media until it's real. And I think you'll see some value in that. Did this bless anybody? I'm done. Did this bless anybody tonight? This is a very quick lesson. Didn't have a lot of people logged on tonight, but I certainly pray that those that were logged in got what they needed. Those people that are watching the replay, that they will get what they needed as well. But I certainly hope this message bless you. If it did, fill it up with hearts. Let me know. I'm getting ready to pray for you. I want to pray for you quickly. Get us off the line in 2 minutes. If you've got a prayer request, I want you to type it in the comments right now. I am praying for you. 4:15. I'm getting up, praying over your request, and certainly trusting God to continue to make ways in your life as only He can. Listen, these messages have been so practical that I just think mentally, and it's wearing some people out, that this stuff can be this practical and this relatable and this easy to understand. And so I need you all to continue to share this ministry, this broadcast with people, whether it's the relationship series that we're on or when we move on to our next thing, if they need a practical word to tune in, because we are just grateful that Rehab certainly is a place where people can come, get the word of God, but get it in a way that they can digest it and get it in a way that really impacts their lives. And so we are just blessed every single day. Y'all, I can't tell y'all enough. Go ahead and type in your prayer request as I'm talking quickly. If you got a prayer request, put it in the comments. I'm giving you 30 seconds. I want to share this with you quickly. If you got a prayer request, put it in the comments. If you've got something that cannot be typed and seen publicly, you can email your prayer request to info@rehabcc.org. That's info@rehabcc.org. Y'all, I can't tell y'all the number of DMs that I've received in the last 24 hours since my live last night. Not only people saying, wow, I never heard pastors really talk that candidly about things like that, sneaky links, but I literally had a couple reach out and say, listen, we watched the live and we were convicted that we're not doing our job as a couple. We reached out to the grands, asked them to get the kids the weekend, and we're going out on the weekend to try some different things. Did y'all hear what I said? Did y'all hear what I said? Now, all the bougie, big head, big nose, stuck up church folk probably saw that. That title was like, look at him. This boy's really out there talking about sneaky links. Listen, our ministry changes more lives on accident than some do on purpose. Are y'all listening to me? And nothing really blessed me than to see that inbox of a couple who watched last night talking about sneaky links. And when that broadcast was over, they went and reached out to the grandparents and said, listen, can y'all watch the kids? We watched the broadcast tonight. We realized we need to do some things differently as it relates to dating and how we treat each other, how we talk to each other, how we handle each other, how we are comfortable with each other. So practicality works if you're bold enough to have the conversations. All right. And so I hope these broadcasts have been blessing you. I hope it's been a blessing to you. Type in your comments, your prayer requests right now, quickly. After you do it, I want you to clasp your hands like this. I'm getting ready to pray with you now. All right. I want you to clasp your hand like this, or hands like this, as a sign of symbol of faith. We're getting ready to pray really quickly. All right. Are you ready? Let's do it. Father, in Jesus' name, I thank you tonight for your word. Thank you for this time of gathering you've given us. Thank you for this opportunity, this moment you've given us to share. I pray that somebody was challenged tonight, encouraged tonight, through your word, through this very practical lesson on dating, whether they're single, in a relationship, or don't know what they're in, that tonight they may have found clarity through this practical instruction. I pray, God, that you would continue to turn our hearts back to you so that, one, we can be whole as we possibly can be, so that we can love ourselves as much as we need to be, so that when we decide to date or when we choose to date, we are not only rewarded with what we want, we're also rewarded with what we need. I pray, God, that you would give somebody that's tuned in, literally give them the desires of their heart. But before you do it, prepare them to receive those desires. Prepare them, God, to be positioned to be everything that they expect from someone else, so that their relationships are whole and meaningful. I pray now, God, for every prayer request that's come across this line, that's been typed in the comments, that's been emailed to our inbox. We lift these prayer requests up to you, that you would answer these prayers, that you would make ways, open doors, meet needs as only you can. I thank you, God, for being a way-making God, a miracle worker, for being a promise keeper. I pray now, God, that you would allow this week to be a week that is filled with miracles, that is filled with open doors, that's filled with new opportunities, as only you can do it. God, we will continue to give your name glory, honor, and praise in Jesus' name. Amen. Do me a favor, type in the comments quickly. It is so. Quickly. It is so. It is so. Type it in the comments now. It is so. It is so. It is so. It is so. Come on, quickly. Every time you say amen, you are simply saying it is so. I want you to type it in the comments really quickly. It is so. It is so. I certainly believe in the power of prayer. I want you to know that every morning I am up praying for you. And I certainly believe that God is going to answer every prayer concerning your life and the needs concerning your life. It is so. It is so. It is so. Very quickly, 30 seconds. I want to challenge you to give today. If this ministry has been a blessing to you, I want to challenge you to give. Many people reach out. I got paid today. I sold my tithes today, or gave my tithes today, and sent it right to the CashAPP. I am not just a teacher and a preacher, pastor that teaches and does not give. I believe in the power of giving. It is giving that has always sustained me. And so I gave my tithes. I sold an offering seed today and was really excited about that. And I want to challenge you to give today. If this ministry has been a blessing to you, you can give your tithes here. You can sow an offering seed here. You can give one of three ways. You can give via CashAPP at $REHABCCGIVE. That's $REHABCCGIVE. You can give through our website, www.rehabcc.org, or you can give through your cell phone by texting REHABWORKS. You can text REHABWORKS to 88202. Text REHABWORKS to 88202, and right to your cell phone, you will see a prompt. Click on that link, follow the steps, and you can give right from your cell phone. All right. Again, the three ways you can give: via CashAPP, $REHABCCGIVE. That's $REHABCCGIVE. You can give through our website, www.rehabcc.org, or you can give right directly from your cell phone by texting REHABWORKS. Text the word REHABWORKS, 2 words is 1 word, REHABWORKS, to 88202. And right to your phone, you're going to see a link. Click on it. You can give, follow the prompts, and you can give that way. If you give, I promise you, God's going to bless you. Good measure, pressed down, shaking together, and running over. He's going to send people to be a blessing to you as only he can. Listen, y'all, I love y'all. I'm 4 minutes over. I did better on time tonight, but I'm praying for you. Join us this Sunday, first Sunday in December, Super Sunday. It's our last Super Sunday for this year. We're going to prepare to give a seed, but also prepare to receive a very powerful word as we continue this relationship goal series on Sunday. And I can't wait to see you for a very powerful word this Sunday, 9:08 a.m. Right here at the Rehab Christian Center. I want you to make sure that you like this video, share this broadcast, subscribe to our channels, make plans to see, be with us on Sunday. Share this video with 5 people. Tell them to tune in and watch the replay. All right. I love you guys. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. I want you to have a fantastic week. And I look forward to seeing you on Sunday morning at 9:08 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love you guys. Praying for you. Peace and blessings.
For watching the Rehab Christian Center live experience. If this broadcast has been a blessing to you and you would like to be a blessing to our leader, Dr. Zeb Talley III, you can sow a seed into his ministry by CashAPP at $PastorZT3. It is our prayer that this message of hope encourage, enlighten, and empower you to be better. Please tune in Sunday at 9:08 a.m. for our Sunday morning experience. And as always, be blessed and